potential spread in communities, or what they call the communal spread, and 2, for us, which is more important, to enhance testing, to enhance contact tracing and testing, so that we get ahead of the virus and not wait for it to start showing up in places before we follow it. The Ghana Health Service Director General, Dr. Patrick Abuaje, will join us with an update on where we are so far. This is day 4 of the enhanced tracing and testing program. He will join us with an update on that one. You are also aware that His Excellency the President mentioned that for many of the things that need to be done as part of this response program, there is a need to pass some laws or gazette some executive instruments. This morning we'll give you a quick update on how many of those we've been able to do, and maybe a few highlights, so that we are clear in our minds the legal basis for which we are doing some of the things we are doing, and most importantly, the penalties for non-compliance with the things that are currently being done. Dr. Bedusa Akodie, Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, will join us with an update on Ghana's case count and case management as at this morning. I think as at last night we were at 204, but with a good number of persons who had either recovered or were responding to treatment. He will join us with an update on that one. And then finally, the Ghana Psychological Association has been working very closely with us on providing some psychological care for our colleagues who have tested positive and are currently receiving treatment. They want to give us a quick update on that, and more importantly, they want to share with us some updates for the millions of people who are at home at this point in time. And then finally, we have room to take your questions and your answers, questions and then provide answers, and then I understand that we have some donations to receive. So good morning once again. I want to invite the Honorable Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, the Honorable Cecilia Abnadapa, to give us a quick update on the ministry's work that they intend to start in the next few hours as part of the restrictions that we have and how they want to take advantage of it to do some work.
I know the protocol is to use the sanitizer before and after. Good morning to all of us. Thank you, Honorable Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister, fellow Ghanaians and our visitors. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to announce that indeed the Greater Accra and Greater Kumasi lockdown areas, all the assemblies and the private contractors in sanitation, as well as the fire service, NADMO, and we have also the engineers regiment to help us clean and cleanse the streets, and especially the silt choked gutters. And we are doing this, we've been planning to do this for so long, and fortunately we have the streets clear of people and pedestrians and hawkers to be able to carry out this exercise. We entreat all of us to cooperate and pray for the success of all of this, because once we do the personal hygiene, we should also clean our environment to make sure we have a complete set of hygiene to make us more healthy. I'll also humbly entreat all of us in our homes that we can exercise by cleaning our homes and our immediate environs. When you finish, gather all the garbage, put them in a bin or in bins in front of your houses, and the contractors and the assemblies will come and pick them up. And Yameka and Nitia Wamwane say, if free ne, ekusi kwesiada. Yasha say, CC, important potem, any main streets, and I say, quantum ponumu, Yabe praso, near Hoso, near who say, ye gota numunso, yaden, yes, mu, enche, and subeto, yent now ma, and sionun to, and sana, Yakuyi, Sani Mayinemu, it assemblies near Boma Basso, or Masha say, and then Nunsien. yɛbɛyɛ saa ene ochna ene akosi kwasiada edemu nyina asese mo fie ya mo humi mo tenetire mo mpom na mo fa dododo mo mfikyire na afei me kwan ya dededa mo fie ni mo no so mo prapra so na mo siesie fie ho mo wie na mo yi ewura ni nyina wie a mesrɛ mo pii ma mo fa ngu fo mo fa ngu bens mu na yenua no so mo ye ho adwuma na tumi abesesa sa bobo ya afo so na wo a mo fa wura na omo so duru ho a na afa na o pe bi kakra ma wo mo ko ne contractors na ye nhyehyɛ a na wo so wa ye den wa pe bi kakra ma wo mo em say nsuo sem de later minister e be man all the call numbers na o de atodwa tibda mo ase bebre nyame nhira ye nyina na o nhira ye mampan da mase
especially when there are restrictions in Accra, in the central parts, the business district. Who is going to be doing this, or who's going to be leading this?
Mayor of Accra. Okay. All the assemblies, MCs, they lead. Na ye koso akohwe no pay say Minister for Finance beba. Unsu we were ya obe join ye yesre bebre. Na ye nyina ya kan bom. De ye ko na kyerɛkyerɛ nsa hohoro no nsu tenase ene senia yebesi aboye ho ban sa yare bone ye nyina ye hyede eno na wo se ye hwɛ sɛ ye important nyame de akyɛ ye yebedi nidi eti mayors no mayor of Accra Central Business District on no hwɛ so ne colleagues MCs aka ni nyina obi a ye bibi on important wo hwɛ amfoni bebre aba omo hyɛ ase no nsia eti ye ne saa ne be pon no miensa eti obi a we exempt apɛ so obɛboa ye no ebe ma overall ahyɛ no obɛboa ye ye damase.
Honorable Minister, so just to reiterate, the exempt workers, those in the sanitation space, are the ones who are going to be leading this cleanup exercise in the Central Business District and in the key parts that have now been, in I think the ordinary Ghanaian parlance today, locked down. But we're also encouraged that in our own homes, we also take advantage of the period to do a bit of cleaning. Sanitation services are exempt, and it's expected that once you're able to do a bit of that cleaning and put it in the bins outside, the sanitation teams will be able to pick it up. Honorable Minister, we thank you. We'll join you when we are done with this one. Ladies and gentlemen, the second matter, the second brief that we have for you is from the Ghana Health Service. Dr. Patrick Abuaji will join us shortly, and he would explain to us how case management is going currently and how the first 4 days of the enhanced contact tracing and picking of samples has gone so far. So, Doc, please join us with your quick update.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, and good morning, all colleagues and media and the media. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to share with you the case management update, protective PPEs as available now, and issues arising, and then the current update on the current enhanced contact tracing, which is being done after the restrictive movement was established. I mean, as Honorable Minister said, some partial lockdown. As of now, we have about 200 cases confirmed across the country, and a total of about 49 patients with COVID-19 have been discharged for home care. As mentioned in the last conference, we have already added 2 more facilities in Greater Accra to provide care because a large number of cases are in Accra. So I'll give you a breakdown of where that is in the Bank of Ghana and the University of Ghana Medical Center. Let me give you a breakdown of what's happening in Ghana East, which is the largest center currently now. Currently, we have 58 people on admission. Yesterday, we admitted 2 new people. There are 3 of them who are getting oxygen, and we are informed that they are getting better. A total of 38 has been discharged, care. And we are following them on daily basis with home visits, and they are actively getting better. Ridge Hospital has 4 cases. They are all there, been there they've had a case since between 13 and 19 days. We are waiting till the 21st day. As you are reached 21 days, and then you are retested, and if you are negative, then you are discharged. At the 37 Military Hospital, 1 case is on admission, and they are also managing 6 cases at home. They have an excellent facility with a 20-bed treatment center with 4 ICUs available with ventilators for people who need care. The home care, 20 of the 20 screening are waiting repeat. Of those who are at home, the home care, the 49 I mentioned, about 20 are waiting, retesting, and if they are negative, then they will be discharged. And now, as we said the last time, 2 people have already tested negative and they have been discharged. That has declared cured. Kumasi has no case, and the only 1 case they have qualified for home care, so it's being managed from home. Komfanochi has a case, 1 case on admission, and repeat test was negative, and then positive, and then we have also put him on treatment to see how it goes. Obuasi has 2 cases, and they are all being managed at home. So far, 12 contacts of the second case has been followed. The first one had about 30 contacts, which have been followed. And while we have 1 case on home care, Tamale has 10 cases. They are stable on treatment. 7 of them are still managed from the hotel where they are, and 2 are in the hospitals. Eastern region has 1 case reported and awaiting more information. Either they'll be managed at home or will be transferred to the hospital. But currently, they are being managed at Atua Hospital for further management. UEGMC, as we said, is complete with 5 ICUs and 14 beds, and they are ready for use. In terms of case management, there have been a lot of capacity building. They have a bus at their disposal for their home care, etc. We have given them 3 pickups so that doctors can visit people at home and provide the necessary care. Currently, today, people will be trained on how to use their ventilators in the ambulances to manage care should they need be, and that is going to take place this morning. PPEs remain a major challenge for all of us, and I think it's not just Ghana, but it's a global challenge. We continue to provide as many as can be pushed and put in there. And more continues coming in. We have received a significant number of coveralls that is being distributed today, and some masks last night, which is being distributed. But these are definitely not going to be enough. And so we urge facility heads to ensure appropriate distribution of the masks. Generally, majority of our people will just need masks, nose mask, and gloves. And that's what we're going for more than 98% of all health workers. We want to ensure that that's available. We've started a process of having some local production of one, and what I'm wearing is a local production that is comfortable, it can be washed and re-ironed. I think this is something we want to promote. We want to encourage all people to wear masks if you can, especially those who have flu-like symptoms, to wear masks. But apart from who should wear their own masks to ensure that these things are done. So a lot more is being done to push more PPEs into the system. And there are plans to provide local production to boost what we are bringing in currently. Ladies and gentlemen, the contact tracing, I think today is the 5th or so day since we started. We are testing all contacts in Accra and Kumasi and across the country and do their contacts. We are testing all people we meet in their homes. We have hotspots where we visit, like Tamale, contact tracing is being done. Our contact tracing is being done. Currently, we are looking at about 110 contacts in Eastern region who are being tested, and then the report will be shared as and when they come in. As at yesterday, over 6,000 samples have been taken for testing. So testing currently ongoing across the country, as at 6 p.m. yesterday. We also are looking at the quarantine patients who were negative and still in the hotels. We so far completed 7 hotels. We've done tests for 538 of them, and then when the results are ready, we are hoping that within the next day, today and probably by end of tomorrow, all the tests would have been done, and the results will be shared with all people in the hotel. Then preparation for discharge will be done based on, or management will be done based on the results that we have. We will continue to follow up contacts, and we plead to all Ghanaians to support. So far, the reports from the field show there's a lot of encouragement, and that once they do the house, they are encouraged to look at the area where the positive is, to test people to see whether is there any community spread, to give us a gauge as to what is really happening. We gauge and treat all to support and encourage them. People were asking for identification. District directors have given them some notification to show that there are really people who are there sent by the service to offer doses. Those who are positive, we are continuing to provide them psychosocial support across the country. Psychologists have been engaged to talk to all those who are positive and negative and brief them on the next steps of what to do. And we also entreat all to abide by the quarantine rules that has been shared with them to save themselves, their loved ones, and all of us. The service remains very grateful to all those individuals who are continuing to support us with donations and all manner of both technical and financial support as we go through this response. So thank you very much, Honourable Minister, and I'm ready for answering further questions. Thank you.
Dr. Patrick Abuaji, thank you. He's the Director General of the Ghana Health Service with a quick update. If I just may quickly translate into Twi, Dr. Abuaji, any penny of that Ghana Health Service, and Ghana Health Service, are buying hospitals, we teaching hospitals, if you are buying hospitals, Ghana Health Service, and or train. Baby Brianuma, test positive, so many are really been here, or Nesenia, or Mapomudin Sabriete. Na Titiru no sono, Adeba Coca, a can't manage, and it's a Fidia Deja Homia, say, I really do in Pempen, Subia, and I say, do a chilipa, a more deno, say, a Kudunesa, a really pano. Ghana has say, already are buying a war, any of their Uncle hospitals, a war. Yekikabuma Yayakobe ahen about 200 ventilators in ICUs across the country. Yasan so I orders for Bayer 50, Bayer 20 abadada. Ya order edunuma Bayer edunu ababidu da ehwe nim sebeba. But apart from no so no nansenya yenya ambulances, Ghana ambulance service yenya ambulances, Bayer 307 ambulances. Omo mini ventilators wo mu a se bibia bani e fa wako hospital yitumi edisomu na o chere se ne omu fi ase training for omu ebetumi use sa mini ventilators na sa ventilators nkuma na wo ambulances no no na boa ma ye preparedness no egina ne na so personal protective equipment PPE asem here I'm say yebedi hu nkomo kakra. The doctors and nurses across the country continue to raise those issues and they continue to keep an eye on that one. Now critically, we said this 14-day restriction period was to allow us to delay or halt potential community spread, but most importantly, to do the enhanced testing, what was initially confused as compulsory or mass testing, but thankfully you, the media, have helped us to correct it, the enhanced tracing and testing. Now, initially, remember we said there were about 1,000 contacts of the first set of cases that needed to be traced. Then we had some persons on flights who were also looking at that first 14 flights was about 2,400. If you ramp up the numbers, almost 6,000 people within the flight category that we needed to trace. And then, as was mentioned, in the neighborhoods where there are positive cases, to do some active surveillance. The good news is that as at yesterday, they have been able to trace and take samples from 6,000 people. Doc, how many teams are you using in Greater Kumasi and in Accra? What's the population of your teams? About 300 contact tracing teams, a little over 300 contact tracing teams are doing this job. That's how come they've been able to hit about 6,000 contacts that they have traced and have taken samples from, which are going to be posted. And I think it's a very important a milestone we must begin to keep an eye on. And today is day 5. They are yet to start work today, so we still have some time ahead of us. Yakasesa na what we say now obi entene fie no ebema yakwanya ma wonoma yesusu se wo se ye no mu di nkita ho ye hwehwe wom na sempo ye betwe wom hunsu ahwehwe wom redeem se yaye ne bi wo ho a ye betumi aye ukabo ma na nipa beye empem ensia eko nson na wo ye krata so a ene menim ya na nke pese hu wom ansana baby a omote no so no nkofo ho kakra no so ye no medi nkomo asate nura nwumre fiti Kumasi Mpotam on Nkran no nipa mpem nsia ena Ghana Health Service mpanimfo a ASR enhanced testing and tracing omatumi edi omachi no omadi nkita ho atwe om hunsu a omade collab, and I think it's a key thing. At the same time, also in the quarantine facilities, about 500 out of the about 1,030 have already submitted samples, because minus the 78 about about the 950 persons who are negative, they have taken samples for about 500, so that we can finish their second test before day 14 and keep to our word there. So, Doc, we are very grateful. Nipa beye ahenum out of beye ahankunu ni achire kakra omo ye ma ombo omo adwan so far yetumi atwa omo hunsu a ye hwe nim sansa na day 14 ne beso no yetumi ehu om status na yetumi ama omo so akofie. I want to quickly now get to the big picture. So you recall that Dr. Boachi gave a breakdown of various facilities, but what does the big picture look like? Ghana's positive case report, where are we currently? Has the number changed from the 204 as at last night? And in general, what is the breakdown? Dr. Bediso Akode, please join us with that quick update. Once they are done with it.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The COVID-19 pandemic remains active, and a number of countries have reported confirmed cases. As we speak now, 216 countries and territories have confirmed cases. The case burden keeps increasing, and more than 1 million people have been confirmed globally having had the infection. This includes more than 53,000 deaths, and it's interesting and happy to say that more than 211,000 people have recovered. This is the global picture. Here in Ghana, as at last night, midnight of yesterday, the 2nd April 2020, Ghana has confirmed a total of 204 cases, and this includes 5 deaths. These cases have been confirmed from 5 regions of the country, and the regions are Greater Accra, Ashanti, Upper West, Northern, and Eastern region. In summary, the total confirmed cases are 214 in Ghana. We have a confirmed 115 from the general surveillance system of this country. Out of these, unfortunately, we've lost 5. Among the quarantine travelers, 1,040 of them that are in quarantine here in Accra and in Tamale. We have confirmed 89 cases among these travelers. Thank you very much.
Dr. Bedusa Akode, thank you for that update. He's a Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service. I just want us to go back to the slide that he referred to. And the reason for which we are drawing attention to that slide is because as part of efforts to help people feel free to not suppress their conditions but engage with health workers, we also need to get people to understand that people can be given supportive treatment and they can recover. That's why it's important to break it down. So for the 204 cases, 3 of them, as has been mentioned, have been discharged because they have recovered. That means that after the treatment and the last test, they tested negative. 49 have been discharged and are home finishing their treatment. Our expectation is that they will be tested, and a good chunk of them, or hopefully all of them, will test negative. And I think, as Doctor mentioned, about 20 of them are due for that final test. So we can all keep our fingers crossed for that. That brings us to about 52 that are out of facilities now and are on their way, hopefully, to full recovery. There's 145 that are currently responding to treatment in various facilities, as he gave the details. And please let me give a clarification. In Tamale, for example, though there are 10 persons who tested positive, you'll notice that he mentioned 7 plus 2. That makes 9. Because as I'm sure you are aware, there's one that the security is still trying to locate. So it is important to nuance that one. And then there are 2 who are in critical condition as at this point in time. So that's a breakdown of the 204. Mpamchosen kameka no twi mu kakra. Sabre yesi nipa ahenu ene 9 ena wo mo teste a enya yare bi. Unfortunately, yehwe enum. Na asem de wo ho ne se oha ene aduanan enum 145. Doctor for an air home so no. Doctor for my so to say, Omumpomuye. Mienu, Omudienu Muedin Kakra, Infidi, Emise, Esi, Omoso. Eduanai Inkuno, Omumpomu, Aye ye dum pension be I am Mukufia, ye treatment no ewufie. Nenumpono, Emu eduno, Doctor for ne say, do baby on bed test to nansen, Cominia negative na yet to me a case of Mato Mukra. And sana miensa de omo de oma testing negative ye hwe omo no testing negative nti ye yare a se wunya na se uma yehu ye ka ho no kre na doctor for eti ase ehwe wa yetumi hwe wo ema oni pedua no ma ne ho so etumi ema utumi ekuntia yare no. So that's just a quick breakdown so that we also understand the progress that we are making on this particular front. Now, one of the key cohorts of persons who've been helping us are the psychologists. They've been instrumental in helping us deal with persons with positive cases, especially those who were positive but were asymptomatic. They were not ill, they were not even showing any symptoms, and initially were even in denial after they had tested positive. They needed to help us a lot to bring them to that point of understanding and acceptance before they would even acquiesce to supportive treatment. But beyond what they've done, they also have a few notes for all of us, the millions of Ghanaians who are at home this morning. I want to invite Dr. Collins Biduajiman, Vice President of the Ghana Psychological Association, to give us a quick update.
I must say that I'm stepping in for the President and the Chairperson of the Executive Board of Ghana Psychological Association. She's currently training some of the frontline staff, helping in fighting COVID-19. That is why she's not here. And also representing all professional psychologists in Ghana. You know, when we talk of mental health, many of us may have different understanding about what it is. But mental health is basically about any life event that rocks our world. It can affect the way we think, the way we feel, how we behave, usually in a negative sense. And COVID-19 is such a life event we are talking about. And that presupposes that we are all potential mental health patients. In a sense, COVID-19, we don't need to introduce it. It has become so devastating that children cannot hug their grandpas, their grandmothers, and they cannot be cuddled in return. Almost every facet of our society has been affected by the spread of COVID-19. And this novel coronavirus, by its nature, spreading patterns and manner of behavior that continue to dribble the scientific world, introduces a more psychological virus: fear, panic, anxiety, helplessness, some signs of depression. And I think all of us may have found ourselves with these descriptions that I've given. Think about these words related to COVID-19. You hear of virus, either in the health sector or in the IT world. Virus means you are likely to lose something. Think of isolation. To be isolated is not something pleasant. It's not comforting. Think of quarantine or quarantine. It is not something comforting. And lastly, look at the current one all of us and many countries are enjoying: lockdown. To lock and down is not positive. And that is why the inclusion of psychologists with Ghana Health Service, the Ministry of Health, and other stakeholders became very relevant. And even ultimately the Ministry of Information became very relevant. Just to help you appreciate why our services were more important, think about these. Look at the effect of confinement and social distancing. We are Ghanaians, we are Africans, we have our ways of behaving. The social psychologists will be interested in looking at how one person interacts with the other. And now there is a barrier: social distancing or physical distancing. So we can't do things the way we used to. And that becomes a challenge we need to adjust to. And as we socially distance ourselves, boredom may set in. A relationship between us and our friends, our family members, our work colleagues, all these may be affected in one way or the other. How we even deal with children, older ones, the developmental psychologists will be interested, and that is what they have been doing, to look at how we can help people at different stages in their lives in fighting COVID-19, and especially vulnerable groups. Some may already be having bipolar or existing mental health situations. How do we assist these ones? Think about the workplace. Indeed, the industrial and organizational psychologists or business psychologists, they have been working with organizations to cope with this changing trend as a result of COVID-19. We cannot operate the way we used to. Many people may have to work from home. What HR strategy do we have? How are we managing the people while they are home? As employees, how are we managing ourselves while we are at home and still ensuring steady business continuity among others? These are all important parts. Think of the likely potential job loss. How are we going to discuss this? Engaging employees and all that. The business psychologists or industrial and organizational psychologists, we are working with organizations to ensure this is done. Think of the public behavior, the panic buying. Look at the offending and exploitation that is going on. Why should we expect people to behave this way, especially in times of crisis? The community psychologists will be interested in looking at how indeed we can promote community-based interventions, how we can help one another to ensure that all of us stay afloat. And what some of the work that we are doing, look at the frontline workers. It is a trade-off between a call for duty and fear. They are frontline workers, our nurses, our doctors, our psychologists, and all frontline workers who are helping. They are navigating between their good selves as individuals. They may also have some morbid fears while they do their work. But we have sworn an oath before our licenses were given to us to practice as professionals. And all these ones, we are helping them, how they can also manage their well-being, so they don't get overly stressed because of the increasing cases, and then they can continue to support Ghana. Think of the disease-related anxieties, family members who may possibly, they were at home waiting to welcome their loved ones who are traveling from abroad. Think of those who may have been isolated out of love. They were coming for holidays. Some may have left their children there. They are here. Because of the extreme love they are showing to Ghanaians, they need to isolate themselves. What may be going on in their minds? Some may have taken leave to come to Ghana for a short while. In most cases, if you are in abroad, coming to Ghana for a visit may not be more than 2-3 weeks. And some of them are here. A lot may be going on in their mind. And these ones, we have been supporting them drastically. Think of the work of the counseling psychologists, those who are entertaining morbid fear of the unknown, uncertainty. Counseling psychologists are helping these ones to indeed draw on their strength and then the various resources they have, so they can be confident that we will certainly go through. And so in terms of deployment strategy, a number of psychologists have been factored into the framework of Ghana Health Service in helping these people. Thus far, 1,019 quarantined heroes and heroines, that is how I call them. It is a lot of loving kindness these ones have shown to Ghanaians, to accept, to be isolated out of love, so that we protect our loved ones. They are heroes, they are heroines. And these are people that indeed, as psychologists, we have engaged with them and we continue to assure them and support them. To be honest with you, taking your sample to go and test is not easy. Breaking news connotes breaking hearts in some cases, and it opened the doors of panics, attacks, helplessness, anxiety, among others. And that is why the services of psychologists now more than ever has become important. In terms of our deployment strategy, we also use the media, and I must commend the media houses, both those in the local language media houses, English and others. We use the language of the heart, speaking Twi, Ga, other languages in addition to English, to be able to help people appreciate why we need not fear the psychological virus of panic, anxiety, and others. Thus far, there is a partial lockdown. What can we all do while at home? It is true, work does not only give us income. Work gives us a sense of livelihood, a sense of identity. Work gives us the opportunity to structure our time. It tells us when we wake up, when we should stand, when we should rest, when we should take a break. And because of this, while we are at home, especially our children, we want to have an activity plan with these our children. It gives us opportunity to bond with our children. Let's train them, let's engage them to do some of the house chores. We can play indoor games with them. It's an opportunity for us to tell them Anansi stories which we have lost. Education is not just about a teacher standing in front of you. These are all things we want to engage our children. Let's have time with them and work with them. As parents, we want to also make time to exercise. If we don't have a hobby, this is an opportunity for us to look for one and activate it. This 2 weeks partial lockdown is telling us how retirement will be like. We must find things to stay active. Take an online course. Social distancing does not mean emotionally we should be distant. We can connect with people by using electronic means. We know the telcos have supported Ghana, giving us options, promotions, and others. Let's leverage on this. We may do our own pedicure and manicure at home. Washing our own cars at this time will save us, because likely one duster may be used to wash several cars, and that could also be a danger to the spread of coronavirus. We all as a family, we want to also prayerfully pray to our Almighty God Jehovah, so that we can have the strength to stay calm and build our family up. In conclusion, those who are at home working, We want to tell you that you should still manage your time as though you are at the workplace. Avoid reading everything corona. Let's reduce the screen time. Let's avoid binge watching TV simply because children are at home. Indeed, we must say that all emergency situations in Ghana that may change the way people behave, the way people may do their things, may demand that we consider psychological assessment in the planning stage, designing, and implementation of what? Interventions. What we need to conclude is that indeed we must reflect on all the good things that we have. Let's be positive. And Madam President urged me to mention that the media houses have done well, but we want to encourage you as professional psychologists to be positive. Look at the positive side of coronavirus. Let us avoid sensationalism. If people who do not encourage, who do not uplift, the people who don't believe corona even exists, we shouldn't entertain these ones on our media houses. We want to be mindful of the diction we use, especially if it is in the Twi language, talking about isolated ones, and we say yamantam womo. It connotes that we are equating ourselves to animals. These are things we want to avoid. In conclusion, we want to say that we should all remember that social distancing is indeed an appeal to our sense of discipline and love for one another. If we do not have anything that is highly unavoidable and emergency, we want to stay home. We have some helplines in case you are still at home, you are afraid, you are still fretting, anxiety is setting in, you can call 020 000 9999. 020 000 9999, or the last one could also be 7. We wish you well, and our strength depends on keeping calm, connecting with one another, and all of us will be able to stay strong, robust, and resilient, and COVID-19 will soon be history.
Doc, thank you so much for sharing those notes with us from the Ghana Psychological Association. Doc, ewo adwumaku a omo na omo boa na sebe se obi mayam hihie ana se na dwendwen ya kompempen so bi a ye ni nyi ho a omo doctor adwuma omo ye no omo ne di nkomo boa no ma na kuma ne na dwene ade nyina begina baabi a epese ebegina sabre ya nipa ase nipa kuma eyetu sanse wo tese bi ese cases ne bi ka ho nanso ye kire wo se bi mo so ho eto wo yo a wo hwe bi wo internet so hwe CNN nkeka wo ne ade no omodwuma ehu hia pa omo so eboye kokose sabre ya wo ne nkwala ne ade wo fie no ma kwanya ma mo so mutumi ye ne ma bebre a eye mutumi ka mo ho bom agro kakra mo bedi wo fie mpo wa bra ye twetwe ye ho enkomodi a titru awofo ne nkwala ntanya kwan ni sase de bia ye kwa adwuma no ye nya kwanya say yeso betumi atena fie na yeso ye ne wonu nyina edikita ho sanso the telephone numbers bia to dwa say simple say still obi adwen engina baby ama na comment to ana bibia to me friend na mo bi o mo no de abo o ma boa ye pa so wonu ma ya test wo ma o test positive pa na o mu nyini ama yetumi ama omedu pempen so bi asese ehoma so doc we are grateful. We are almost at the end of today's brief and we'll take your questions shortly. I just want to update you on some legal matters. Now, the Constitution of the Republic gives all of us a number of liberties. But because of the current situation in which we have had to take measures. Excellency the President has had to take measures in the interest of the country to suspend some of our liberties and to impose restrictions. These suspensions and impositions had to be done in accordance with law. And so you will recall that right from his earlier broadcast, he mentioned that he was instructing some ministers to get either some legislations passed or some executive instruments issued and gazetted. We just want to give an update for the avoidance of doubt this morning. The declaration of public health emergency for COVID-19 pandemic, Executive Instrument 61, is currently in force. It was gazetted on the 23rd of March under the signature of the Minister for Health, the Honorable Kokrokoo, Member of Parliament, and it is pursuant to subsection 1 of Section 169 of Act 851. So the Public Health Act, Act 851, which gives him the power to declare public health emergency, and based on that declaration, also now quarantine persons, which would ordinarily be against that person's liberties, is in force. And so we want to encourage for our colleagues, if it becomes necessary that you are asked to either self-isolate or to be put in a quarantine facility, there are laws that back it. Shortly, I'll show you some of the sanctions if we also do not comply. At this point in time, we're asking everybody to comply with authorities. But this is for the avoidance of doubt. EI 61 is now in force. It is what gives us the power to quarantine persons who have tested positive, and also to restrict their liberties while we are supporting them with treatment. The President also asked for the enactment of an act known as the Imposition of Restrictions Act. As I'm sure you have followed, Parliament has enacted that. The President has gazetted that as well. It is that act that gives the broad framework for the imposition of further restrictions on the broader Ghanaian population. To do that, the President has had to issue 2 different executive instruments. EI 64, which was gazetted also on the 23rd of March 2020 under the signature of His Excellency the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and EI 65, which is the latest that imposes the restrictions on Greater Accra and Greater Kumasi, gazetted on the 30th of March under the signature of the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. These 2 are available. We'll give you copies, colleagues, so that you can also, as part of education, make it available to the general public. Most importantly, there are sanctions for non-compliance, and we'd like to draw your attention to what some of those sanctions may be. The Ghana Police
National
Service.
borders, no social bounds, no political systems, and no cultural values. It hits us just as...
Comply with these restrictions, don't have to be beaten or subjected to some injury.
104.3, good to meet Peace FM.